From the update on the ground and back into the air this morning here on eNCA. Let's go back now to Dasen Thathiah. That is our reporter and our team in the air flying over Durban. Dasen, I believe you are back with me. I think you can still hear me as well. Let's talk about where you are at the moment, and while you describe where you are at the moment and what we're looking at, I'm not sure if you were able to hear Ronald Masinda's interview with private security on the ground, criticizing the SAPS leadership in KZN, in Phoenix, for not having enough weapons and ammunition to do the job that they are required to do. Dasen, over to you. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, Gareth. So I did hear that, and let me just, make a comment on that. Just to follow up with what Ronald had been hearing there. We've been hearing similar things where many of them have been telling us, security officials as well as police officers who've spoken to us confidentially, they say to us that those police officers at the station level, the ones that are generally the first to respond, don't have access in some instances to rubber bullets and the items needed for crowd control, and that is a huge concern considering what we've been seeing over the past few days. But that's a conversation for another day. Let me show you what's happening right now below me. Look at that long line of cars that are queuing up again. This is now our reality. In fact, it's a reality that's not too far from home, because even when we stopped at the airport this morning, I nervously looked at the fuel light coming on the vehicle that we were driving. And that's exactly what's happening. If you do want to get fuel, you need to be prepared to sit in one of these queues. Have your car idling, possibly using up the last of your fuel in the hopes of getting something at that station. I also mentioned to you that in many cases, the fuel is running out, these stations are closing, and that is causing a huge problem. I also want to draw your attention to something else now. You're seeing an industrial area now towards Ballet. That's where we're flying over at this point. Lots of trucks here. You can see the aftermath of what happened here. Look at the looting that took place, the boxes. But there's a bigger story here, a sadder one. Up there at the premises across the road, there are vehicles that are still alight. I want to tell you a story about that. Notice the fire engines that are stationed outside. Yesterday, firefighters were out there battling that blaze, possibly about 20 trucks that were set alight. Remember, bearing in mind that their resources are stretched, they were here dedicated, fighting that blaze, and just about at the point that they had this under control, another petrol bomb was thrown onto that property, causing yet another fire. What we're looking at now could be the effects of that second wave, or that second fire that started up as a result of criminals coming in to sabotage these businesses. These are the trucks that are important for the supply chain. These are the trucks that travel out of the province on that N3 route, which is currently closed. The trucking industry can't afford this. You remember that very early on in these riots, our colleague Sipamandla Goge was at Moy River, where about 20-odd trucks were set alight. The impact on our economy as a result of that is devastating. I'll take you further back. About a year or 2 years ago, the trucking industry in KZN was dealing with something similar. Trucks were being torched at some point for weeks on end. The impact to that industry ran into millions, if not hundreds of millions. And while that recovery was starting to take place, you have this. So the talk about, that is why even the police minister had said, talk about hunger, talk about poverty, and that being what is fueling the looting is not always necessarily true. How does hunger influence you to set a trucking company's premises alight?
And that is exactly, I think, the question we're all still trying to grapple with in and amongst everything that has resulted in this looting as well. From the skies in Durban, showing us the carnage as the sun rises over that part of Durban for us, as our reporter Dasen Thathiah. We're back with him again as he continues to take us around. Once the sun is up, you begin to see just how bad. I mean, it obviously looked terrible at night. You can see the flames, the fires. But the thing about seeing it from the air with the sun up, you get a sense of just how devastating. It's going to be months, years before this has come right.
Sure, it's just devastating indeed. But you know what, our colleague eNCA Lawson has those headlines at the top of the hour, and then we'll leave you with at least the temperatures around the country this morning. See you again tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Wear your mask. Stay safe. Bye-bye.